What is happening, guys? We are Craig and Aimee and you are watching Kicking It!
Now some of you might know a few bits about our lives, but today we're going to go right back to the start and tell you about our near-death experiences and basically what's happened to shape us and who we are as people.
Because we nearly died.
Genuinely. So this is Aimee Bannister, aka Captain B.
Oh, I got it!
Aimee has always been one in a million, and even when she was younger, she never followed the crowd.
This is Craig Holmes. He's a madman. He likes to jump off things, and when he was younger, he used to get so angry playing computer games that he'd bite the controller. Hang on, didn't you smash your Mickey Mouse pictures once?
I don't want to talk about it.
So I met this beautiful pudding face back in 2008 in a nightclub, like a grotty, grimy nightclub in Cardiff.
What do you mean? It was top drawer.
They were serving toast at midnight, which was great. I won't knock it.
I was about to leave for an around the world trip with my mate James, and I literally met Aimee on my leaving do.
I walked in, this blonde bombshell of a girl, young, no wrinkles, nothing like that, and it was just love at first sight for him. I know it was.
Aimee was actually wearing a wig at the time because she was going through chemotherapy for cancer.
So I was working in TK Maxx at the time. I was 17. Big up to my TK Maxx crew. And I found a little lump where that scar is there. And I didn't think much of it. It was kind of like a small grape and quite hard. It didn't really move about a lot. I felt absolutely fine. There was like no side effects to tell me that there was anything wrong. And it was Christmas time, so we kind of left it a bit to go and get checked out. Then after Christmas, it was like the size of half a ping pong ball. So we thought we better go and get this checked out. After a pretty horrific biopsy with a huge needle in my neck, they told me it was something called Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a type of blood cancer. It was pretty quick. Everything just seemed to go so fast, and I couldn't actually believe that it was happening to me. Like, I was 17 and I thought, cancer's for old people. And I literally thought, I'm gonna die. That's the first thing I thought. And the second thing I thought was, am I gonna lose my hair with the treatment? So I had to have chemotherapy for 8 months. The chemotherapy was called ABVD, and the side effects were a bit gruesome. So I lost all of my hair from head to toe. I had nothing on me. I was peeing red for about 8 months, and I lost all of my toenails, which was really freaky. So I was diagnosed on the 28th of the 2nd, 2008. And 2 years ago I had my 10-year cancerversary. 10th of the 10th, 08, I was given the all clear. It's been 10 whole years now that I've been all clear. So if there's anybody out there that's struggling, or if you've got friends that are going through this at the minute and you're just not sure what to say to them, drop me a message. Like, I'm super happy to talk about this, and I'm an open book.
When I met Aimee Bannister, I knew that my life would never be the same again.
Right there. That was my shoe.
She just doesn't know what to think of me, Craig.
Aimee, your mum's on the phone.
Hello.
So I just met this little angel, and I just booked an around the world trip with my friend for like over a year. But we made a promise to each other, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were like, let's keep in touch, and then whenever Aimee gets the all clear, she'll fly out and meet me wherever I was. So me and James set off on our trip. We went to Australia, and I would text Aimee every day. We would send each other these huge emails. And one day I messaged her and she didn't get back, which was really strange. And it turned out that Aimee was actually in intensive care with pneumonia.
This is probably the most scariest time of my life. I didn't really know what was going on. I had this huge mask attached to my face. I was on a ventilator. I looked like Darth Vader. And every now and again they'd come round and put an injection in my arm, and the whole thing would turn blue, and the clock on the wall would just sway. I couldn't speak, so I had to write everything down, and I had a big cannula in my hand, so I had to use my left hand, which wasn't ideal because I'm right-handed. But I found out later that my mum had to tell all of my friends and family to come in and see me because they weren't sure what was going to happen.
So at this point I was debating whether to fly home and see Aimee, but she managed to write on a note to her sister to tell me, I'll be fine, don't fly home. Luckily she fought it off like a little trooper, and then fast forward 3 months of more emails and more texts, and then I had a text about 3 in the morning on October the 10th, and Aimee was like, I've been given the all clear, and I was like, yes! I was so excited. I was in the dorm room trying to be really quiet, and I was like kicking and shouting. But yeah, it was just the best news we could have ever asked for, and I knew then that we would get to travel together and that we get to travel in Australia. Our first trip was Australia. Do you have a wicked time? Yeah.
It was incredible. My mum was terrified. Like, I don't know how I got travel insurance.
Yeah.
And my hair was shorter than yours at the time.
Yeah.
And I bleached it, like bleach blonde, little pixie cut. But yeah, oh, it was just everything I needed. After that, yeah, completely. It was a beautiful trip, and we were just so excited to see each other because we'd really got to know each other over like MSN and emails, the emails we sent. So just getting to see him, I couldn't wait. I was just so excited.
Yeah, it was so good. And at one point we actually looked like twins.
Yeah.
So we travelled from the north to the south on the east coast of Oz, and we did it for about a month.
I was getting disability money while I was going through cancer, so that had all saved up, so that was what paid for me to go on that trip, which was amazing. Thanks to my social worker, Jude.
I actually had an around the world ticket with James, so I still had a few stops left on my trip before I was going to go home to see Aimee. So the first stop was New Zealand. So Aimee flew back to the UK, and then a week later
I got a really bad phone call.
So I was on a road trip with some friends, Carly, Adam and James, and we drove from Auckland all the way to Wellington. We spent a week driving through the North Island and it was amazing. So we got to this campsite in Wellington and it had this thing called a jumping pillow. So it looks quite innocent, but the rubber's really thick, so on a trampoline when you land, it's quite a lot of give. But this thing was quite like, you land and it would hurt quite a bit. So James was teaching me to do backflips on this. And I was getting a bit cocky, you know, landing a few flips. And then I really mistimed one and I landed on the top of my head and my face touched my chest. I must have knocked myself out or blacked out for a second, but when I came back round, I tried to lift myself off the mat, but my head wouldn't lift off it and my arm wouldn't move, my right arm wouldn't move either. So I was like, guys, I've broken my arm. And they were like, you didn't land on your arm, you landed on your head. And that's when I knew I'd broken my neck, and I said it, I was like, guys, I've broken my neck. I was terrified. Imagine like landing and then trying to get up and you can't actually get up. It was so scary. So it turns out I'd actually dislocated and broken my neck. So it was C4 and C5. And I later found out from my doctor that if it was a millimetre one way or the other, I could have either been paraplegic or died instantly. Mental. One of the worst experiences I had in the hospital was they told me I had to have a halo traction device installed. And I thought I was going to be asleep, so I was like, yes, fine, whatever. Turns out I had to be awake for the whole procedure. So they installed this metal framework with sucker pads, and the doctor literally got a screwdriver out and started screwing bolts into my forehead and behind my ears. And it felt like my whole head was in a vice. And once they'd installed it, they started hanging weights off the back of my bed to try and straighten my neck out. But when they actually did that, it felt amazing. It like stretched out all the dislocation and I felt like a new man. When I was in the hospital, I had the most amazing nurse named Jenny, and we ended up going back to visit Jenny a few years later. My mum actually flew out as well just in time for my surgery, so I had someone to look after me after that. So what they did was they took a bone graft from my hip to replace all the shattered bone, and I've now got a plate with 2 screws in my neck, so I'm basically like Wolverine. The only side effect I had was that for about 3 or 4 months my arm didn't actually work properly. It took me ages to keep trying and trying to lift it up. Every day it would get like a centimetre higher, and eventually I lifted it above my head and I was like, yes, it's fixed. So I ended up getting flown home business class with my mum in style.
Didn't you drink like 2 Jack Daniels and you were gone?
They gave me Tramadol and Cocolamol, like super strong painkillers, and there was a free bar, so I was like, I'll just have a double Jacks, and it literally, I was laid on the floor in Hong Kong airport for about 8 hours. But yeah, I got home, and Aimee looked after me then as I recovered. And then basically the next few years, we just spent messing about, didn't we? Aimee worked in a petrol station.
And I cried a lot, because I didn't want to be there. I just felt like, you know, we'd both been through these experiences and we had a new appreciation for life, but we were just stuck in a rut, like we didn't know what to do with ourselves, so we were just going through the motions, and we had the 9-to-5 jobs and we really weren't happy doing it.
We both tried university as well. What did you study?
Criminology.
I wrote Aimee's essays for her, basically. And then, how many terms did you do that? Did you do 1 year?
I didn't even make it to a year, but I did dress up as a red crayon. And I had a wicked time. Not a lot got done though. And I actually went to uni in Plymouth, because that was the only place that would take me with my scores. Craig went to university also. For how long?
I think I lasted like a year as well.
Doing photojournalism.
But things happen for a reason. I actually got taught how to do studio lighting and stuff like that, and that helped us further down the road with Kinging It.
So after Australia then, we kind of always knew we wanted to see the world. So we got really well paid jobs in the bank, which was crap. We saved for about a year and decided to do an around the world trip together.
And that is when Kinging It was born.
Kinging it. Rule your own world.
Welcome to New York, you joke.
Welcome to Vegas.
Welcome to San Francisco. We planned a trip of a lifetime, travelling through 8 countries in 7 months. We met family and friends on the road, and we just had the most incredible time of our lives. All the while, we were posting videos of our trip, and they were getting quite popular on the old YouTube. We planned to end up in New Zealand, and we had sorted working visas as we knew we would run out of money and we'd have to start working. So it was in New Zealand where we actually bought our first ever camper van called Linda. Linda the Lucida.
We bought a motorhome!
We ended up in Queenstown where we both got jobs.
I got a job selling cookies and had to dress like this.
And I ended up working for Bungie doing things like this. And we were in a house that we couldn't really afford to pay the rent on because it was so huge. So it was there that our channel actually started paying off, and we got some freebies in exchange for features on our channel. So we got jet boats, we ended up doing river rafting, we went on a chopper, we were going to spas, we were just getting spoiled just for featuring these companies on our YouTube channel. And at the time we probably only had a couple of thousand subscribers, so we were just in the right place at the right time.
After being away on the road for 18 months, we had always planned on coming home for Christmas to surprise our friends and family.
My mum has just pulled up.
Merry Christmas! Oh my god! What are you doing here? Are you okay? So we were finally home and we had a bit of debt from travelling and staying in that massive house. So I was like, right, obviously the next step is just to get some jobs to get that paid off because I'd never had debt in my life. But you weren't having that, were you?
You already had a job. We did have a lot of people saying, this isn't going to work, you need to get an actual job, how are you going to fund yourselves and all this. A week later, we created the worldwide viral sensation where Amy got slapped in the face with a fish.
So the best part of this clip wasn't actually getting hit in the face with a fish. It was that it kind of put us on the map. We had eyes on us, people came to our channel, and we ended up working with Visit Wales.
So we got our first ever paid vlog, which was the Great Weekend of Adventure. And it was incredible. We couldn't believe after traveling and filming for so long, we were finally getting paid for what we loved doing, and it was such a good feeling, wasn't it?
Yeah, please don't go and watch it. It's very embarrassing. Like, don't go back past maybe like 2018 on our channel.
Whilst we were living and working in Queenstown, we had an email from this fella from Iceland.
Just a fella.
Who said, I want you to come to Iceland and drive around in my new campers because I'm starting a camper van company. And we thought that it was spam.
We were buzzing, but we were like, really? He wants us to go? Like, he'd seen our Thailand videos is what he'd said, and he'd invited us to come. But yeah, it turned out it was the real deal, and now Mr. B is one of our best mates.
So Iceland was one of our first fully paid trips, and it was the most amazing trip ever. Iceland is one of our favourite countries, and since then we've been back quite a few times, haven't we?
Yeah, everything since then kind of started to fall into place. That was like our first proper gig, and we'll always remember that one, won't we?
Yeah, we will, yeah. On our first trip, we'd spend the whole time filming it on GoPros, and we actually had a drone that we attached a GoPro to. So when we came home, I did this overall GoPro edit. And then we had an email from GoPro asking us if we wanted to fly to Spain for the release of their Hero 5. And the email said that we've been invited into the GoPro family. Get in! We spent the next couple of months just saving up and working with a few different brands, and then we decided to upgrade all of our equipment and go on another trip. We'd always wanted to see the Philippines, and we also went back to kind of revisit Bali and Thailand and make some more videos.
But we were really like stuck with our content. We didn't really know who we were or where we were going with it, and we kind of fell into like a template travel vlogger style, which wasn't really us. But then our friend told us about the Mongol Rally.
Did you do the Mongol Rally? Yeah.
Excuse me, mate, did you do the Mongol Rally?
Mongol Rally, Mongol Rally, Mongol Rally, Mongol Rally, Mongol Rally. So if you didn't know, we did the Mongol Rally in 2018. As soon as we heard about it, we had butterflies again. We got that passion for like, let's create some awesome content that people are going to want to watch, and it's going to be like a story in itself, and it'll just film itself.
Yeah, because I feel like although we travel vlog and we go loads of different places and we're proper spoilt tarts, we were just getting a bit bored of the same old go here, show you around, you know. We needed a challenge, and this was definitely it. So while we were planning the rally, we had to go up to London to get a bunch of visas for different countries. And while we were up there, we got invited to the Blogosphere Awards.
And we actually won our first and only award, which was Travel Influencers of the Year 2018.
The winner is King.
No!
Craig.
So the company who sponsored our category was actually Marco Polo, and one of our prizes was that we would get to work with them in the future. And fast forward to India, we actually ended up getting the whole thing sponsored by Marco Polo, which was amazing. As soon as we started the rally, it was just a complete game changer for us. It wrote itself, so many things went wrong, so many things went right. We just had an amazing crowd of people, didn't we?
Yeah, we just knew that that was going to be our kind of filming. We were buzzing before we even went, even just trying to plan it all, which took about 6 months. We just knew it was going to be incredible, and it did not disappoint one little bit.
Whilst we're on the subject, I'm not sure if you know this, but we've actually got a podcast, and we've just launched a brand new YouTube channel.
So season 3 is going to be all about the Mongol Rally, and we decided that we wanted you guys to be able to watch the podcast as well, because we're quite animated when we talk. So season 3, the Mongol Rally, is going to be coming soon, so please head over to that channel and click subscribe. And if you haven't listened to season 1 and 2, wherever you get your podcasts, go and look for King and the Travel Podcast.
And then just like that, guess who got 10 years old clear from cancer? Brucey boy.
Then, in an absolute flash, it had been a decade since I was diagnosed with cancer. 10 whole years had passed, and I always knew that I wanted to go to South Africa to swim with great white sharks in a cage for that celebration. It kind of happened. Craig got to see the sharks. I spewed over the side of the boat because Travel Sick Tracy invited herself along. I was gutted, but it truly was the trip of a lifetime. We went on safari, we saw elephants and giraffes, and we went to this beach where it was just penguins that walked alongside you. We swam with seals. It was incredible, and I'll always remember and cherish that trip. After the Mongol Rally, we found our love for challenges, which brings us on to our very next life-changing challenge.
And most mental one.
We went to India. We bought a rickshaw in the north and drove it all the way down to the south.
Now when we told our friends and family about this, they were just like, you can't do this. Even friends who'd been to India were like, this is impossible.
Yeah.
So we saw that as a challenge, didn't we? And we were like, well, let's make it happen then. Yeah,
YouTube's such a funny game, because like, we've got so many supporters on there, but then there's these little people that creep out of the woodwork and they're like, nah bro, you can't do that. We've always proved them wrong, but I just want to say, like, guys, if you've got a dream, never let anybody hold you back from doing it. If you've got a belief and a passion and you believe you can do something, absolutely go 100%, balls to the wall, and go and do it, because it can be done.
Those haters. No. India was a struggle, but in so many good ways and so many bad ways.
The trip had the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. It was that kind of trip. If you've ever been to India, you'll be on the same wavelength as us. You know how mental it is. But to have to do what we did, it just took so much mentally and physically, didn't it?
It really did.
But when you talk about it, I cannot help but smile and laugh and just remember that time, remember that time. So much happened. It was incredible.
You might have noticed this big yellow and grey beast that we've been in and out of all day. Custard is our bus, and this was our third challenge.
Another stressful challenge, to say the least. Oh, we had the naysayers back again, but we managed to finish our beautiful custard in just 5.5 weeks. We had the help from friends, families and strangers, which was incredible, and we managed to renovate her from a blue public 24-seater bus to the beautiful shining star she is today.
So the reason we had such a short time frame is because we were due to jump on the Eurotunnel and drive through Europe on the best road trip we've ever done in our lives.
Last summer, it was incredible.
So if you haven't seen our first ever van life series, then click up here. It was the best trip we've ever done. Just having a mobile home to cruise around in was class, wasn't it?
Custard equals freedom, mate. It just was so amazing to be able to go through all those different countries in our own space with our own stuff. I took 5 suitcases. It was brilliant.
Those 3 challenges we did in 18 months, as well as a whole bunch of other trips and work commitments. And it took a massive toll on us and on our relationship as well. So of course we needed some counselling after that, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a super tough time. Do we need to put this on there? This is very personal. Oh my god, I'm getting emotional.
You're right.
Yeah. It has just been really hard. We were at breaking point. It was that bad. It got really low and we got very sad over it, didn't we? And we really pushed each other away from each other, and that's not what we wanted. And we really realised, you know, this is everything. We just needed to take a bit of a step back off social media, and we wanted to show the realities of social media and the toll it takes on people and the toll it took on us working together every day and being in stressful situations, and the amount of messages we got from it, from people saying, I love this, thank you for being so real, this has helped me. Yeah. I now want to reach out and go to counselling, and it was so lovely. Yeah,
it was incredible. And we've always wanted to be as transparent as possible with everything we do. Like, we always keep it real. We tell you when things are going wrong. You know, we never wanted to portray this perfect life. So I think the honesty of us, you know, saying that we had to go to counselling helped so many of you guys. So it was great to put that out there and get the feedback from everybody as well.
Yeah, it was really an emotional good few months.
So that is Kinging It from start to finish, pretty much, with a lot of detail left out.
Yeah, it's a big nutshell, that is. It's all been pushed into a little nutshell.
But yeah, I guess through everything we've been through, the best part is that we've had each other, and even though it's been so hard sometimes, it's been the best time of our lives, hasn't it? And just having Aimee by my side, just to pick me up when I feel down, or tell me, you know, we're gonna make it, and you know, just encourage each other, I think is so key. Just having that person who will take care of you, you know, whilst you're working and when you're in a relationship as well. And I think for us, what we learned the most through all of this is just like being open and honest and communicating with each other and just picking each other up, because you sometimes get into a rut where you feel bad and you take it out on the other person. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is it's just been wicked, babes. I've had a great time with you.
Well, it's just as well, Craig, that I've had a great time too.
Yes.
I mean, I've learned most of what I know from Craig over the past however many years, and I love it, the fact that we can go together. And even, you know, come Christmas time when we had to do the counselling and there was a slight glimmer of me maybe having to do this on my own, and I was just terrified, like, how could I do that without Craig by my side, you know? So it's really made me not take him for granted, and yeah, just remember, like, look what we've got, look what we're doing, and you know, look what we're able to do. And he's my best friend. He is. That sounds so cheesy when I watch wedding videos, because I do, like on a Friday night. I love to watch people's wedding videos, and they say he's my best friend, but it's so true. Like, I'm with him every day and we laugh so much. Like, yeah, it's just a beautiful thing that we've got, and we could never throw that away, could we?
No. I feel like we're back now. We're stronger than ever.
I do too.
We're so excited for the future of our channel and for our future as well.
Yeah. I'm not having a kid or nothing. I'm not pregnant. Maybe we should clickbait this, should we?
Yeah, maybe. So thank you guys so much, everybody who's followed us and messaged or emailed, all of our patrons as well for keeping us fed.
Oh, our patrons, of course, we love you guys. Thank you so much for your support every month. Like, I don't think you understand how much it truly helps us.
Yeah, and yeah, everybody who's bought merchandise or just done their own thing. There's so many of you who've bought vans and started trips or started a blog or taken up photography. It's so amazing to see. Like, that's why we wanted to start this.
Yeah.
And we always sort of say our mantra, which is rule your own world. And if you live by that every day, then I think you're going to go far.
So we hope you guys are keeping safe at home and keeping as busy as you can during this lockdown. Always remember, even if your kids aren't going to sit there so you can do their homework with you, don't stress out. Cook something, or you know, teach them how to do their mortgages when they're older, because I would have loved to have learned that in school. Always remember to rule your own world.
1, 2, 3,
Bye.
bye.